Hey everybody, this is Josh from CollectionDX.com, and I would like to introduce you to the world of acid rain. So acid rain is, it took me a little bit to figure out. It's basically a universe, a story. And the toys from this story are produced in 2 different scales by, I think, 3 different manufacturers. So there is quite a bit of acid rain merchandise out there already, but this is like a newer expression of the world. This is 1/28th scale. So each figure is 2.5 inches tall, roughly, fully articulated, and it comes with a series of machinery and weaponry that go with it. Now, this particular toy line is done by a company called B25. I've also seen it called Beaver out of Hong Kong. They sent an assortment over to check out, and holy crap, these things are awesome. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to go through each of the products individually in their own review, and then we're going to go and show you some of the crazy combinations that you can make with all of them. So just this is a way of introduction. These pieces are available from the B25 website and all over, Hobby Link, Big Bad Toy Star, I'm sure Hobby Link Japan, and many others. So once again, this is the 1/28th scale, not the 1/12th scale, not compatible, different sizes. These have a cleaner color scheme. They're not weathered kind of Ashley Wood looking toys. They're not G.I. Joe size figures. They're smaller, and these toys are modular. So why don't we get into what these things are and what makes them special. So the first piece we're going to check out is the this mecha overall is called the Stronghold. And then there are all these different versions of Stronghold that use some of the same parts and some of the different parts. So it's a nice way to reuse some molds but to give you different figures. This is the Agurts military. Now, from what I understand, Agurts is one of the nations in the acid rain world. And this is a jungle use version of this machine, essentially. So it comes with a figure and the machine. The box is really nice. Kind of shows you some stuff on the back, shows you some connection points, but no instructions. So you're kind of left to yourself to figure out how things work with other things in the line. The QR code over there that says how to transform. Sadly, as Americans, we don't use QR codes. I mean, they're around, but we just don't use them. So, there's that. So this is the pilot figure. He's 1/28th scale, super articulated. He's got joints in the knees, hips, elbows, pretty much everything you could want to turn turns. They can grip guns. You could even swap these parts out with another figure, pop off the legs and arms and make off your new one, pop off your head. I think my only concern with these guys is that the heads come off a little easy, so when you're trying to get them in the seats you might have a small issue. It also appears like maybe the torso, if you pop the arms out, the torso is like a rubber suit over the body. Still very cool, very nicely detailed. There's a nice ab crunch in there, if you can see it or not. Very nice little figures. Reasonably stable. You could just have to take some time to pose them. So another thing I want to point out with these figures is that there are little holes in the bottom of the feet. And if you notice on the toy, there are little pegs kind of all over the place, just in case you want to stand your figure on the toys. It's just a nice way to secure your figure onto it. So to get the figure inside, you just open the cockpit. There's no click here, it just is what it is. You can seat the pilot inside, and there are little pegs that the pilot can attach to. Takes a little bit of, you know, if they had smaller fingers, it might be better. But there you go. He's in. And you can close the cockpit, and then this window opens. So you can see the pilot inside, so you might have to straighten out his head a little bit. There we go. Pilot's inside, and this also rotates. Another thing that you'll notice is these points, hard points, I don't know what to call them, but that's the Gundam term, I think. But they're pegs and holes, and you can move accessories. Of course, I didn't push it in hard enough. From one place on the figure to another. And these holes are common amongst the pieces in the toy line, so you can connect stuff from others. And while I have this guy in vehicle mode, I'll show you that there are these sort of rails on the back that you can connect a speeder to the back of, and we'll see the speeder in a different review later on. But just a nice bit of adaptability. I mean, if you wanted to stick it on the side, I'm sure you could. Side speeder. Alright, let's transform this. So transforming this is kind of easy, but there are a few things to look out for that I want to bring to your attention while you transform it. So the first thing I like to notice is there are these panels here that you really can't get to unless you kind of move the arms out of the way. But what you're going to want to do is, I mean, you can probably just take that off, flick these panels up like so, and then bring it back down. Same thing here, just sort of get the panel up and over that little nub. Alright, then underneath here you're going to see there's a lot of places where these treads click into the body, and you're going to have to untab them, but not you got to do it in not in a certain order, but you just don't want to break the tabs. I haven't, they're pretty sturdy, but I just get a little nervous. So free the back one first, and then you're going to free out the one inside and come down. So you might see it better on this side. You free that back one, come out and down, and then this piece here kind of clicks in to the body. Alright, see what's going on there. Then this comes down on both sides, and that's essentially the tank treads. Then the arms just sort of break out. There's a lot of clicks in here you're gonna hear. They're all good clicks. Hands come up, and then there's kind of a cannon area that slides forward. So you got motion here, 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 here. I mean, there's just a ton of motion. Fingers open up, and you have some movable fingers, although you can see that we have a movable thumb, we have a movable forefinger, and then we have a kind of a solid 2-finger block that has a movable tip to it. And here we go. If you want to put these back on, you can. You can put them on the head, or you could put them on the arms, or you could put them on the waists. Really, whatever you want to do. They are very customizable. So there's a lot of options in here. And they're pretty posable too. I mean, you look at the range of motion you can get with these legs. Forward, backwards, side to side. It's pretty ridiculous. Considering it's just sort of like a simple tread design, they've done a really nice job making it very dynamic considering its blocky appearance. So that's basically the gist of this model of figure, but there are more. Once you start looking into the other toys, you see opportunities for combinations and transformations. As you can see, we have little holes, in different places. We have another big hole under there, and all of these pieces are modular, in that they just come out. And there's they did a really interesting thing with the modular part, is that, I don't know how well you can see this, give it a second. But these spring-loaded, not spring-loaded, but they're tabs that make it easier to go in a certain way. And once they're in really strong, and you bring them out to the point where they're free to get out, and they come out easier. And it makes for a sturdy joint system that you can use. For example, you want to take the legs, put the legs in there, you could do that and get a sideways arm walker thing. I'm just sort of throwing stuff out here, but you get the idea. Is it breaks down into many different individual pieces that you can really build some unique creations with. And we're going to show you some of those as we go through them.